Outstanding Alumni Award is presented to alumni who have achieved singular accomplishments in their fields, who are role models for our students, and whose achievements set an example for all the alumni of the School of Engineering Education. As you saw in Russ's interview, he is a technologist with a great love of designing things like complex software systems. His work at Burroughs and the Defenders Association equaled a nearly 40-year career, and no doubt made an impact on all of those who utilized his systems. What wasn't mentioned in the video was that Russ and his wife, Anne, have been doing tremendous philanthropic work that includes helping start a garden in their community over 20 years ago. And you might have read this in the program. This garden now serves 185 families and has a 2-year waiting list. They also support an outreach program in Philadelphia that introduces elementary students grades 3 through 6 to arts and theater. And the children that they support wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity to attend plays or to learn from the artists that they have the opportunity to interact with through the program. So Russ serves as a supreme example and perhaps a great reminder, and this is really what attracted our faculty when we were selecting Russ for this award, was that his life is an example that when you make work-life balance a priority, you can actually achieve more. And you achieve more for others while keeping yourself grounded to what is most important to you. So Russ, would you please now come up to the stage? Sorry. I'm crying too, so. So, what's this?
Oh my.
So at this point, the School of Engineering Education is proud to present the Outstanding Alumni Award to Mr. Russell P. Troyer.
So my son wanted me to do this. I would like to thank the Academy. So that was, the silly, guilty little pleasure here. Wow. I'm going to set this down here for a second. Is this working all right for everybody? Okay, cool. Because I'm likely not to pay attention to it in a minute. Yeah, wow. This has been really cool day, cool experience. And I'll tell you more about that in just a minute. So this Federal Express envelope arrived, and inside it was a business envelope with a Purdue logo on it. And inside that was a letter on Purdue letterhead that said I'd won something. And so I thought, wow. The scammers have really upped their game. That was, at that moment, the most plausible explanation for what had arrived. The idea that you guys were giving me an award was, let's say I was surprised, stunned. I read the letter a couple more times, and I realized that, okay, this has been written with a graceful professionalism and impeccable grammar that are not the wheelhouse of the typical scammer. So telephone calls ensued. Teresa Walker explained to me what had gone on and how on earth you had come up with my name and why. And so, yes, I was going to come out and see Purdue again, and this was sounding kind of cool and, kind of an honor. So I arrived yesterday afternoon, and Teresa picked me up and dropped me at the Union, and I checked in, and then we went off to dinner, and we had this delightful dinner yesterday evening. And somewhere in the conversation, I just happened to mention that, oh, by the way, tomorrow, that's today, I'm going to be figuring out just how honored I am. And that was sort of, you kind of have to understand my humor. I have kind of this backhanded humor that I use, and some people call it dry. And anyway, so it wasn't exactly an attempt at humor, but it was kind of a poke in the ribs. And but I was indeed trying to figure it out because I knew nothing about you guys, just absolutely nothing. The last time I was on campus was in the late 70s, and things are a little different now. And there's, so this has been, it's a whirlwind day. I've toured, I've driven around, I've talked to people, I've had cake with people, I've eaten with people repeatedly, and it's so. And so I'll tell you about that in a second. One little piece of background is one of my things is women in STEM. And my daughter, Jillian, is starting just down the road of a STEM profession. And my entire career, I've done this with barely any women on the horizon. And they are sorely missed when you're trying to construct a really effective team and you're trying to do it with a bunch of guys. It's just a lot harder. It doesn't work as well. It's just the way it is, and I really missed the women, I had a few around, but wow, and so it's and because of my daughter, and it's just become my thing. And I mentioned that at dinner last night, that's one of the things I'm, kind of paying attention to, and it's one of the things I'm sensitive to. And so rather than recount my entire day for you, which is an important day for me. It was, I decided that I would slice it a little differently. And so I made a list of words that came to me as I sat and thought about the day. And I want to read you that list. Wisdom. Competent, cheerful, focused, mentoring, giving back, relaxed, smart, really smart, scary smart, tuned in, gives a shit, committed, creative, solid, visionary. And that's kind of where I ran out of page. And I thought, you're smart people. You get the idea. So, I talked to you guys today, and I watched how you collaborate and how you are with each other and the visions you have for the future and the grace with which you do things. And I was really impressed, I have to say. Try and keep it together here, because I am incredibly honored and that you, and humbled really, that you guys picked me, because I think awards are as much a reflection on the giver as the recipient. And so I couldn't be more proud to be your 2018. It's a guy this year. I hope you get to the girls some point, okay? So thank you very much.